Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to maintain the positive now, a look at what success can look like. In this session, we've got our panel back on stage and sharing with us how they've successfully introduced healthier food and drinks in their settings and what they've included with fundraising to inspire you to hopefully make a change in your settings as well. So a fantastic panel. We've heard lots from Tuckshops. Now we're going to hear also from P&Cs. Could I please welcome a panel from across South East Queensland? Carolyn Brewer, P&C President from Beerwah State School. Scott Wiseman, Chief Executive Officer, P&Cs Queensland. Alison Kennedy, the Chief Executive Officer of the Toowoomba Hospital Foundation. We've heard Toowoomba a few times today. And Natasha Szathmary, Secretary, Caboolture Sports Softball Association. Please welcome our panel of four to the stage. So you're excited now, you're here, aren't you? I can tell. Yeah, she is. She's very excited. I think you know the drill by now, but I am going to get you to just run along the line and introduce yourselves to our room so they can hear your stories, where you're from.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Carolyn Brewer and I'm from the P&C Association at Beerwah State School. We're a small country school of about 230 children on the southern part of the Sunshine Coast.
Afternoon, everybody. I'm Scott Wiseman. I'm the CEO for P&Cs Queensland. So P&Cs Queensland looks after the 1,262 sites for P&Cs. We look after everything and support all the P&C associations.
Alison Kennedy, CEO of the Toowoomba Hospital Foundation. I'm very excited to be up here, and I could probably sit here for about 2 hours. But anyway, I know we've got a very short period of time. But we look after the Darling Downs Health in relation to the fundraising. So it covers twice the size of Tasmania. It's a very big region. And about 4 years ago, we got the opportunity to take over all the cafes. So we have 4 cafes now, about 29 vending machines, a really great recycling program. Our cafe manager, Deb, is here. And we were the first in Queensland, I'm just going to claim it. Our Chief Executive of the Health Service and I went hand in hand and changed our vending machines to zero sugar back in 2018 when the mandate came down. So it just happened overnight.
That's 5 years ago. That's extraordinary. Natasha?
I'm Natasha Szathmary. I'm part of Caboolture Sports Softball Association. I've been up there for 15 years as a player, manager, across multiple platforms with tournament conveners. We have ranges from T-ballers through to seniors. We hold one of the biggest competitions throughout the year, which is our Masters competition, which can hold anywhere between 40 to 50 teams over a weekend.
Fantastic. Scott, I'm going to start with you because you talked about those number of schools. I'm not even going to go straight off to your page either. I'm just going to talk to you about the influences, the impacts, the number of people you have to try and keep happy. This is a huge topic for you, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, for those that don't know, there's about 44,000 volunteers in P&Cs. And that includes all your Tuckshop conveners, the volunteers in that space, but also the P&Cs and all the people that run the OSHAs, run the swim clubs and all of those sort of things. So it's a massive network. And these people put in over 500,000 hours of volunteer time every year. Collectively, they raise over $83 million every year, which supports the state school systems as well to make sure that every child gets every chance.
So before I ask Carolyn specifically what they've done, for you, how do you bring this message to so many?
Oh, I mean, I'm very passionate about this, and it's how do we make sure that every child gets every chance? I mean, it was mentioned earlier that and you got YMCA as one of your sponsors doing breakfast clubs. One of the cruel things is there's 177,000 kids that go to school every day with no breakfast or no lunch. So P&Cs actually pick up a lot of the burden of that through Tuckshops and through a lot of the teachers as well. And I think that's a really scary statistic that's about 30% of our kids in the state school systems that are going to school with no breakfast or no lunch. And they're sitting in the classroom, which is fantastic, but if their guts are grumbling because they're hungry or they're tired because they haven't slept enough or their family life's terrible, we've got to surround these kids with all the support we possibly can to make sure that they do get every chance and enjoy the experiences of education.
I will just mention to everyone joining us at home, there's time, any time throughout the session, please throw a question on. Our moderators will send it up to us as well. Carolyn, so from your perspective, what have been the success stories for you? What's working?
fundraising in general or on the healthy side? Because there's a little bit of, we've done a bit of fundraising which may not be so healthy. So our school, well,
So
but
you
it was
actually just
very
squirmed
good fun.
there.
I know. Our school is located beside a very, very large chicken farm, eggs and chickens, and so we thought, let's get them on board, get some funding from them and have a huge Easter egg hunt, and we brought the whole community together. So we've done it for 2 years now. As I say, it's not the healthiest because they do get chocolate. But we got about 800 people in this year, local community, and it just builds the school reputation. And we raised $8,000, which was pretty amazing
Huge.
for a tiny little country school. But from the health side of things, we are in a lower socioeconomic area, and I don't think healthy eating is on the forefront of most people's minds. And I also run the tuck shop at school. And so when I went in, we didn't have a tuck shop convener, and so I started it back up again midterm 1 and thought, it's not the best menu, but no one's going to listen to me. So I enlisted the University of the Sunshine Coast, got the dietetics students to come along and do a needs assessment. Thought if they're not going to listen to me, maybe they'll listen to some people that have some knowledge. And I've got a couple with me today, actually. And the lovely young dietitian in training came up with the needs assessment, interviewed parents, teachers, children, got some feedback, and I was able to modify the menu. And so we went from a 2-apple or 2-star rating with Quast, and with a new menu, with all the recommendations implemented, we've gone to a 4-star rating. So I thought that was fantastic.
Since the start of the year.
Yeah, just in a term, actually. There's been some resistance, but we're working on that because now I have more students who are going to target parent education. So we're getting there, hopefully.
So it's very much a whole of school approach.
Absolutely, yeah. And then we'll keep going with the students and get more each term to keep working on this, to then maybe target the kitchen garden project that we have as well, and try and just sort of bring the whole of school together. Very much a holistic approach to healthy living.
And I guess given the challenges in the schools, that the school leadership would also be very on board with what you're doing.
Yeah. We've got a brand new principal, and so he's very keen to make positive changes. And in fact, he did mention that at the last P&C meeting that since the new menu, classroom behaviour has improved massively.
That is very
Just
exciting.
coincidentally.
Very exciting. Alison, I know you're dying to tell me about all of the amazing things that you've got going on. Fire away.
I don't even know where to start. The foundation 4 years ago was really lucky to get the cafe. So once upon a time it was run by somebody else, and we basically were receiving rent of $110,000 a year, and most charities would be like, that's amazing, we'll stick with that. But we actually confidentially asked them for some figures and realised there was a lot of money in hospitals, in cafes in hospitals, so we took it on, and the board were very supportive. So I think the thing for me is I have a very strong executive within the Darling Downs Health who's very supportive of the foundation, and our board is very supportive of what we're doing. So they were very trusting and said, yep, let's take the cafes on. But we've worked tirelessly and really hard to achieve what we're doing. In the relation to, we got a POS system so we can see exactly what's selling every day, and then helping to be healthy. We brought on 2 chefs, so we don't have cooks, we have chefs, and we love cooks, don't get me wrong, but we've actually got 2 professional chefs in the Toowoomba hospital, and then we've got another professional chef out at Bailey, so they know how to cost food. They also know the ingredients that you need to have so that we can work with dietitians and know, what to put in the sandwich. And I thought bacon was healthy because I'm keto, but apparently it's not. So anyway, took that out, put it back in actually. But anyway, so there's lots of things that you can do just to tweak the food, but the POS system, we have a really big team in-house at the foundation, so we can do a lot of marketing. So when you come into the cafe, you're seeing the green products, and I'm not saying we don't sell sometimes a little bit of red, but it's the green that they're looking at. So they're making really healthy choices, and our cafe's gone from a turnover of X amount to we're doing almost $10,000 a day. So it's a huge opportunity for the foundation to then re-gift that back to the health service. So the opportunity is real to have social enterprise and to be able to have that full circle of bringing the money through the cafes and then back into your hospital and health service to help with research and grants and education and everything that we do for the hospital. So it's just been really small tweaks over a very long period of time. I can honestly say that the changes have not, every now and then you might get a bit of a, I'm a diabetic, I need the jelly bean or the Mars bar. It's like, well, have a glass of orange juice, it'll do the same thing. I know now because I'm so professional in that space. And Erin just told me before I came up on stage. So there's lots of things you can do, but we really didn't get much pushback. And every now and then we'll have a day of celebration, like when that footy thing happens in June, we might put out a coloured donut and something, but then it goes away again. So they're recognising that there is a treat day, but the rest of the day it's healthy eating and making those healthy choices. So we honestly haven't had much pushback or issues.
It's amazing, as we've talked a lot today about taking a small step, do that small thing, and here you were. It was a huge leap on so many fronts.
I think the vending for us was just it was a no-brainer. So my 9-year-old grandson who was living in poverty is now living back in my house. And so for me, sugary drinks are just not something that kids should have. Like, it's just not, for me, it was not normal. So I didn't have them growing up. And so for me, when my chief executive came to me, who's now at the Sunny Coast, and he said, let's go, I'm like, let's do it. So overnight we changed our machines, and when our lovely vending people who are here, and we love them and we work really closely with them, came and looked at the numbers, and they're saying, oh, we're 100% down on red Coke because it's gone. So let's not look at those numbers, let's look at what's actually on the improve. So it was looking at that real data and noticing that people were on board. And we do have a captured market, so, you know, don't get me wrong, there's 1,500 staff in the Toowoomba hospital alone, and then 5,000 across the Darling Downs. So when you're in a hospital, and we were talking before about, you know, I'm not feeling too flash, so I need something tasty. Well, a really gorgeous salad sandwich with, you know, delicious product in it. And if I'm looking at it and it looks delicious, it becomes delicious. So I think, yeah, we've taught people to eat with their eyes. And even though they're feeling like they might want hot chips, sometimes they can get them as well.
Has anything surprised you, particularly about the changes you've made?
Not really. I just, I'm in awe of our team. We just have the most amazing team that have probably the most exciting thing is we've just developed so many programs and campaigns based around healthy eating, which has allowed the team to stretch their wings, you know, not just running events and normal fundraising opportunities and campaigns. It's like we've become these experts in an area we never ever thought, oh, I didn't know how to run a cafe, and we convinced the board to do it, and here we are. So.
Natasha, what about for you? You're going from little people to much older people. What's been working for you? What are your success stories?
I think for us is because I know that, you know, one of the topics that says don't make it cheap, but I think for us we need to make it affordable. We have all-day families that play, so they'll start in the early morning with juniors and then they'll finish with senior games, and that's, you know, mum, dad and a bunch of kids playing. So you need to look at feeding them across the day, so you need to make it affordable. They'll come in and have breakfast with us. They'll have lunch.
Variety. Yeah.
Big variety. They'll have lunch. And then something that's worked for us recently is we've been doing a dinner special so that people aren't going home and getting the McDonald's. They're actually having dinner with us. So we'll do like a lasagna, or we'll do, like this week on our menu is pea and ham soup, and we send that out with our draw so that people can see their game times and kind of plan their meals for the day as well. So that's really worked for us.
And what sort of numbers, have you seen the numbers grow?
Definitely. You know, where people were leaving earlier to go, obviously get that Macca's on the way home or KFC, they're actually staying and watching more games, and they're having something to eat and then heading off after. So it definitely keeps them there longer, which also means that, you know, for the adults, they're having a beer before they go, and that sort of thing helps us out. And you know, the kids are obviously having dinner and a good meal before they head home.
It sounds quite courageous. How did you know this was the right move?
I think it was just you watch the family stay, and you've got all the day items, like, you know, a lot for us too. We make a lot of stuff from scratch, and it's quick and convenient. So, like, as opposed in between games, you get up and you, instead of getting chips because you know they take time to cook, you'll get a salad roll or a fruit salad or something like that. And you can only eat so many fruit salads through a day, so you need to be able to provide different options as well. So, yeah, the dinner option's definitely been a big thing for us that's worked.
I guess we've talked a lot about our why today, and your people are your why.
Correct.
Okay, Scott, what about you? It's a big brief for you, but what has been the most successful?
Well, I think in terms of you know, healthy fundraising, we look at the aspect as not just food. It's about how do we get kids moving? How do we get them out and about, away from the screens? So we see a lot of our P&Cs shifting their fundraising, not just to be food-based, but activity-based. So things like colour runs and things like that, where they get covered in slime and call different colours, and their clothes are destroyed, and mum cracks it at the end of the day. But the kids have a lot of fun. They're moving. They're running around all day. And I think we can encourage our P&Cs to do a lot more of that. I also reflect back to when my kids were little in primary school. Every year they'd bring home the box of chocolates. Everybody remembers those? Yeah, what would you do? You'd basically buy the whole box so the kids don't have to wander around the streets and keep annoying you. So if you've got 3 or 4 kids, you end up with 3 or 4 boxes of chocolates. Yeah, a lot of P&Cs are shifting more to, replacing the chocolates with strawberries or blackberries or fruits and those sort of things. We're seeing a lot of our P&Cs, instead of doing raffles for, baskets and things with chocolates and those sort of things, they're looking at fruit baskets and those sort of things as well. So I'd encourage everybody, there's a lot of alternatives to swapping things out, even with like movie nights and discos. A lot of the foods that we're providing through the P&Cs now are fruit slices and apple slices and popcorn and those sort of things, as opposed to chips and chocolates and all those sort of things of the past. So P&Cs, we're all focused on trying to do the right thing, and there's ways to go, but there's certainly some right efforts going forward.
Because you are helping right across the state, we've talked to Cairns a little bit earlier, and we've got TI folks here as well. Those challenges are around food and supply are real as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's hats off to all the Tuckshop conveners out there. They do amazing jobs, but it's also about sort of balancing that volunteer workload as well.
Carolyn, just on that front for you, what have been some of the challenges?
Volunteers, obviously, always.
Because you're small.
We're very small. Our P&C, at best, we might get 10 to a meeting, but we've got a really supportive community. Anytime I've gone out and asked any business for assistance, what would you like? What can we have? So I've got a whole year of raffle prizes, and none of them are food. But resistance, people, I've had comments of, oh no, I'm not going to order from the tuck shop, it's too healthy. My child doesn't like healthy food. So we're working on that, hence getting the students back in to do some parent education, because I know full well that the children will eat the food, because I see them order it, or I tell my daughter, hey, see if your mate likes this, and I get her to do the work for me. And they do, they like it, and then they make it in the kitchen garden class, and they eat it, and they love it. But then their parents say, no, you don't like it. So we're at this sort of battle with educating the parents, I think, a little bit. So that's our next step. So yeah, we'll get through it. We'll keep going.
I think we found that with our juniors as well, like when our T-ballers and newcomers that are come in, is that parent education, you know what I mean, teaching them that food is fuel, and, we explain it to them, little kids, you put fuel in the car. If you don't put fuel in the car doesn't go, so you need to put fuel in your body. And you see a lot of parents do look and go, and I think for us, that's something we need to also implement for us, is to educate the parents on the importance of eating, and eating through the game, and eating while you're playing, and, burning that energy up. So, yeah, I think that's definitely something we need to work on too for us.
Yeah, absolutely. But you'll find that it's so much easier to convince the children than it is to convince the parents. I think it's a long road ahead, but, I'm determined we'll get there.
Alison, what about for you? I imagine how to redistribute that wealth is probably difficult, but what are your challenges?
Not when machinery costs, upward of $100,000 a piece. But challenges probably, I think the government has a lot to answer for when they continue to allow, local council to actually put, I'm being very controversial here, but to put another Macca's on another corner that is right next to the hospital, and people can just walk across the road and get it. I'm all for choice, but we're just allowing people to see too much of it, and it's just too accessible, and it's too much in your face. And so we're very fortunate whereby we have some very lovely, delicious shops, they say, across the road, but there's a gate that actually shuts our health service in, and so you actually have to walk a really long way around the block to get to it, and I'm like, keep that gate shut. So we have to, we just have to continue the education. For us also, I think it's going to be, and we're just having a chat before about products, so we're, sticking to our guns and sticking to the rules that have been laid down, and we're very happy to do so. But if we can't find the product to go in the vending machine, if I can't can't find the product to put in the cafe, then it's restricting, yes, the sales. And Deb should be honestly awarded. We all just rang the bell. So we were doing, we're talking $1,000, $2,000 days, and to hit a $10,000 day, our product is right. The people are coming, they're enjoying the healthy food, but we're going to start struggling with what products we can continue to grow, because you don't want it to be same either. You don't want them to come in and go, oh, there's another fruit salad. So you have to keep evolving, and so it's finding that new product constantly. So if you could triple the rooms that you had out there to showcase what they have next time, that would be amazing, because it's the product spec that we're looking for.
I guess it's also touching on what Paul said. Reputationally, you've grown so well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're now looking at, so we opened Kingaroy a year ago now, and we've just put our first vending machine in there as well. And now we're looking at a few other opportunities. The new hospital at Toowoomba, they've been awarded the funds to build a new hospital in the next few years, so that's really exciting. We, the foundation, are building a museum and a gift shop on site at Bailey Henderson as well in our spare time. So the opportunities for growth is huge, but we've got to continue to have that Wellbeing co-brand, which is our cafes, to have that same reputation. You just want them to be able to come in and have the same food and know that they're going to get really good service and happy staff. Let's not even talk about staff. Anyway, that's going really well at the moment, which is why we won't talk about it. But there's some real challenges, but geez, they're exciting, because when you get them right, the reward to a foundation to be able to have car parking, coffee shops, vending machines, recycling, you name it, we try our hand at it. It's a really good opportunity to be a sustainable model and to be able to give so much back to our health service each year. So our turnover now is about $8 million due to the opportunities that we've been given. So, yeah.
We've talked about that a lot today in terms of financial and profit and how it works for you. It's obviously successful. It's worked for you as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've basically been very lucky up our way. We've got really good deals. Like, we work with our local fruit and veg grocers, our local butchers and that sort of thing. As I said, we make everything from scratch, so we do find that it is a lot cheaper. We find too for us that a lot of the pre-packaged stuff that we do have, like your chips and that sort of thing, they end up staying there. The kids end up going for things that have been made, like your jelly and custard, that sort of thing, as opposed to grabbing that pack of chips or a bag of lollies and that sort of thing. Doesn't mean we don't have them, but they find that the stuff that we've made from scratch is a lot better, and it's cheaper for us. Money and profits is a lot better that way.
And Carolyn, you gave us the numbers a bit earlier, but for you, profit has been actually part of the turnaround.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We make everything from scratch as well. So logistically, it's really difficult, because I have to rush off to the shops at 7:30 on a Friday morning, because we're only open one day a week for our tuck shop. But certainly other fundraising has made decent money. Like in Newsnet, we don't sell the chocolates anymore. At the moment, we've got socks on sale. So there's novelty socks. There's lots of different fundraising opportunities, but certainly we're trying to do new things with meal deals and things, so that it's veggie-rich foods without the children noticing so much how healthy it is, and that's always a good fundraiser and very successful. Yeah.
Before I wrap them up, is there any questions that we'd like to take from the floor? Not for you. Well, that's good. So before I let you go, ladies and gentlemen, if you could give us one takeaway when we go, that one change that you'd like everyone in the room to make. Carol?
Oh, gosh. Well, my son likes his little catchphrase of eat more veggies.
Scott?
I'd say explore the difference. Look for alternatives. You might have done things the way you've done it for a while, but let's look at a different way of doing it, whether that's a different reward for the children participating or a different... let's look at exploring different ways.
I just think everything starts in the home, and I know that this is not what this forum is about, but everything starts at home, and we need to start talking to kids when they're 2 to 5 to, eat healthy. It needs to start there, because then that will make our life easier and your life easier and everyone's life easier, because treats will become treats again and eating healthy will become normal.
I think it's just saying thank you. Thank you to your volunteers and the people that do all that. Recognition goes a long way, even if it's from a little handwritten note, to just say thanks for coming on board and thanks for helping. And I know for us, we wouldn't be where we are without our volunteers that, put in the tired effort. So.
And I feel like that's something we have touched on a lot right across the day, is the gratitude for what all of you are doing, but also for each of those individual groups within your organisations. Could you please thank our panel, ladies and gentlemen?